Beyond the Fairway, presented by Genesis. Will, it is the week that I hope for every year. It is upon us. It is Masters Week. On tap for today's show, Will, Tayshaun Prince, my homie, my cousin, coming in here going Beyond the Fairway. I already said it. It's Masters Week. A lot of things out there. Is Tiger going to play? I don't know. We'll talk about it. And the Augusta National Women's Amateur just wrapped up and a surprising win there. But, before we get to all that, Will, you're not where you're supposed to be, it looks like. What's going on? Where you at, cuz?
Man, I'm out here on the West Coast, man. I came out here, Steph Curry got some stuff brewing. He got some stuff brewing in his junior golf space. We can't make an announcement yet, but he got some exciting things going on. Right. And so, we're just out here working on that and trying to work through the weaves and,
Weaves? Sure. Like, there's a lot of nappy-headed folk out there. I got to work through the weaves. I get it.
You would say something like that.
I would.
Hey, so you got your Augusta green. I got my azalea pink.
That's it. That's it. We celebrate. Yeah. But, Will, is Tiger Woods going to play golf at Augusta National in the Masters tournament? Go.
No, he didn't show. He didn't show up with his right shoes. This man. He probably flew commercial, and he flew commercial. He showed up in FootJoys. I don't see him doing it.
Fly commercial because there was a Tiger plane tracker out there. I'm sure you saw, but no, that is an interesting statement, an observation that the whole golf world noticed. Tiger Woods not wearing the shoes with the check on it. Had on some different feetwear. I know it's footwear, but I want to say feetwear right now.
But it makes you wonder. Out of all the shoes Nike have to accommodate everybody's feet. Low arch, high arch, big ankles, cankles, big toe, little toe, big pinky toe, small pinky toe.
Okay.
There's not one shoe that Tiger's not happy with where he had to go to the other side.
Would like to see Tiger in Harold Varner's locker grabbing some shoes.
I know. Speaking of Harold Varner, this is his first appearance going down Magnolia Lane. He's about to drop his bag off at the Founders Circle. I can't wait to sit and have a conversation with him because I'm kind of jumping the gun in the predictions right now, but I hope the man doesn't think this week. You and I both know Harold plays his best when he doesn't know what the hell is going on.
Well, I'm not even worried about Tiger or Harold. I'm worried about Tiger because as of this moment, this podcast will come out on Tuesday morning. He has a press conference at 11 today. Well, as of Monday, he is not confirmed yet to tee it up. I think he's going to play. Why the hell would Tiger Woods go through all this rigmarole, right, to fly up to Augusta National a couple times in a week, wear the wrong shoe, we see him with full speed. Why would he go through all this information to not play in this year's Masters tournament? I don't think he'd do it. Tiger shows up, he's going to play. It's who he is. It's in his DNA.
No, he showed up because he wants to go to the dinner. That's all it is. He still got to let everybody know he was champion. He's going to Champions Dinner. That's all he is. He is presenting. He's the MC at the Champions Dinner. That's what he is this week.
All right, okay. Say he does play. How does he play?
Oh, reverse leaderboard.
Reverse lead? Oh, he's going to lead the reverse MC? Yeah. He's not going to make the cut, is what you're saying.
He's not going to make the cut. He's not going to make the cut. He's not even close to making the cut. I don't think he won't. I want him to play, but I don't want him to play just because how my perception of how Tiger gets around Augusta National. I really don't want him to play. I don't. I hope he doesn't play because I know he's not ready. I know he's not ready.
Well, we always talk about it, Will, the ups and downs, the roller coaster ride that is Tiger Woods. We know nothing as of right now, and it's my hope that he plays. Augusta always feels a little more homely when Tiger Woods is on the grounds there. Will, big shouts out to Jennifer Kupcho and getting it done. She won the Augusta National Women's Amateur, the initial edition of it, maiden voyage, whatever you want to say, the first one. She won the first one, but she got it done, and she won the first Augusta National Women's Amateur, and she won the last Chevron Championship. She's going to be the last player to jump into Poppy's pod.
Yeah. Speaking of Augusta National, the women's had their event out there, and it was
Well, the women's is plural. The women's.
Did I say women's?
You did say women's.
Sorry.
The women's. I like it though.
The Augusta National Women's Amateur. Can I say that?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you for correcting me.
Got to. Somebody's got to. You got to be. I don't want you getting canceled. You know.
I know that's right. That's true. Thank you,
Phil Lowry.
Whatever means somebody has to listen to us and cancel me, so I'm okay with that too. Hey, but shout out to Anna Davis. I mean, relatively unknown. I don't know if that's the right word to say, but I mean, coming in as a 100 ranked amateur women's golfer, and she beat out some powerhouse people.
Yes,
and I'm happy to see what that was. It was still surreal to me. The fact that she won obviously won the Augusta National Women's Championship. Mm-hmm. But I think the fact that she was celebrating, and it still had it still shifted my perception. Like, man, this young lady is victorious here at Augusta National. And when you think about Augusta, I mean, you still think it's a place for a father and a son. and seeing her being
for the father, maybe just the father.
Sometimes the son can't go either, but I love the fact that it really I mean, it's still a little unusual, but I'm glad we're moving in a positive direction.
No, absolutely. I mean, plus let's talk about the drip though, because she had a little swag out there. You know what I mean? The bucket hat was a vibe.
She did.
I appreciated her for that, letting people know, hey, you can play golf at Augusta National and have some swag. But I tell you, who got in trouble is Taylor Gooch. Taylor Gooch showed up for practice round at Augusta National, was wearing shorts like is legal on the PGA Tour, but this week it's not run and or managed by the PGA Tour. So Gooch, 15 minutes into his putting session, had the co-head pro JJ came out to him. He said, hey, this is the rules, this is what we do. Handed him some rain pants. So if you guys do get a chance to be patrons during the Masters tournament, you better wear pants. I'm just saying that. I want to put that out there. You got checked.
I have nothing else to say about that. Gooch in pants.
He was not Gucci when he showed up with them shorts on. I'll tell you.
He didn't get the memo.
He did not get the memo. Well, somebody that should know that they wear shorts. He wore them most of his life. It's time to go beyond the fairway with Detroit bad boy. Well, he played for a few teams, but we always remember him as a Piston. Gold medalist Tayshaun Prince coming here, going beyond the fairway right now. Beyond the Fairway podcast welcomes in my man, closest thing I got to a big brother in this world, Tayshaun Prince. What it do, cuz?
What's up, my man? How y'all doing, man?
Hey, Tay, man, don't be coming with that monotone stuff like you sound like a school principal. Don't do it, bro. Not right now. Let's let loose. This is locker room, Detroit Pistons championship season. Let's get loose.
Yeah, it's gonna take me a minute. I mean, it is early, and y'all know I'm from LA, so you know how the LA guys, they super cool, calm, and collective. So
speaking of LA, right? So me and Doug, we met in South Central at a golf course called Chester, Washington, right? And so we said a story plenty of times, but this one is kind of fitting that you said that. We met in the parking lot, and so me and Doug decided we were going to ride together to explore LA, if you will. Right. But from the parking lot to where the front gate is, it's probably, I want to say maybe 300 yards, 300, 400 yards maybe, perhaps.
If that.
And so at that time, there was a homegoing service for a fallen Crip, right? And, in the hood, the clubhouse is also a multi-purpose center too, right? You can have a birthday, you can have a funeral, all in a matter of day. It's about time. Time is money. Time is money.
Baby christening, wedding, all of that.
Time is money. I think I saw a baptism right beside a funeral. It was weird. One going, one leaving. It was wild. So when we're in the hood, and Doug and I were scared to drive from the parking lot. You were scared.
What's
Doug,
I gave you game. I was giving you the game of what not to do. How am I scared? I was worried about your
windows were.
I got
put it like that. The windows were up, and he was still whispering. I don't know what that means. It's either you get pulled over. I know when I get pulled over by a cop, I whisper. So it was equivalent. It was equivalent whisper, the same octaves, right? So we're traveling through, you know, the fallen soldier friends, whatever, but we were scared to drive through, right?
Yeah.
And we finally got to the end of the parking lot, got to the gate. Me and Doug, you know, we became a man. We was like, yeah, cuz they didn't want none of this. You know, the mean street, the mean streets in Kentucky and the mean streets of Charlotte was ready. They weren't ready for us, right?
Not.
But I say all that to say this. You weren't that was hood adjacent for us. We saw hood and we tried to make a left. I mean, you're from Compton. You're in the midst of that. You know, I mean, explain how was it going up in that environment and maintaining your right mindset and being an elite athlete.
Man, just obviously one shout out to my parents, right? Like, you know, just keeping me under their wing and showing me the right way and always, you know, keeping me focused on the right task. And obviously, I started basketball very young, and it was it was always my plan to make it to the NBA. So they knew where my focus was and my dream and passion was. So all the stuff that was going on the outside world, I call in Compton, I was able to alleviate that because I just wanted to have that ball in my hand. You know, a lot of friends, a lot of family members as well who fallen victim to, you know, some of the things that go on in the hood, as you guys know, the gang violence and all that kind of stuff. But man, I was so locked and tuned in to where I wanted to go in life. And, you know, you rarely find that, you know, for kids or people that young to stay on the right path. And that's why I got to give a lot of credit to my parents.
But you couldn't avoid that stuff, Tay. Like, as you matriculated up, got better, because as your name grew, I mean, you played at Kentucky. So as you got into the recruiting process, I'm sure, you know, people was looking at you like, they either wanted to latch on or they wanted to provide protection. Like, how was that once? I mean, it's easy to say that now, right? But, like, you had to have some days where them boys was out there, man.
Hold on, Doug. You said, protection, the hood protected you, Tay?
Oh, so, like, man, great example. So, like, my brother was a senior in high school when I was a freshman. And then when my brother obviously left off to college, you know, I'm solo at high school. But all the homies in the hood was at the games and stuff. So it was one of those things where, you know, it's like, we got to protect the little homie. He got to make it out the hood. You know what I'm saying? So anytime I got fouled hard in a game or anything like that, the homies was in the crowd ready for whatever. Like that was the common thing back in the day. So, you know, those dudes was pulling for me, man. They knew how much I had the dream and the passion to make it. But to that point, yeah, like, no matter where I played, you know, them guys was at the game, and it was like, man, they ready to make it happen, man. We're gonna take care of the little homie, make sure he make it out.
Well, now you gotta give me a little more. I want to get into the weeds. Going from Compton to Kentucky,
easy.
I mean, how much was that a culture shock?
Big time culture shock. But once
again, have you seen white people before when you got to Kentucky?
Yeah, we had one white teacher at and he was the math teacher. And then obviously everybody else is, you know, Black, Hispanic, Mexican, you know, in Compton. But then, you know, I traveled for AAU, you know, throughout my early childhood and stuff like that. And, you know, obviously opened up to more diversity and stuff like that. So, but when I got to Kentucky, man, it was definitely a culture shock. But yeah, it was in my wheelhouse because, like I mentioned before, man, like I just stay in my zone. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I stay in my zone, and you know, Doug could tell you every time, like, he would come visit me and stuff like that, man, I was just always in my own zone, and that's why I was able to lock in and focus. You know, no matter, I could have went any and everywhere. It wouldn't have mattered because I was always in my shell, in my zone, because I wanted to get where I wanted to go. So if it wasn't Kentucky, man, if you would have sent me overseas somewhere, man,
it didn't matter.
It wouldn't matter. I was going to be successful because I was always in my lane.
That's good, and it's a good thing that, you know, basketball equipped you to where you got to be diverse. I mean, you had LA White, you had Kentucky White, you had Doug White. I mean, bro, it was I try to get that question out. Hey,
Yeah,
but so
that's a good effort, jerk.
so how did golf come about? I mean, have you? I mean, I'm understanding that you're just tipping your toe in the game of golf right now because you've been around a lot of golfers, with JR and with Vince. So
Rip.
how yeah, Rip. There you go. So how has that your transition been so far?
So it's been about 6 or 7 years, but I still say I'm still a beginner now. So don't get it twisted. I'm still a beginner. So when I got done playing, living in Florida at the time, and I was working out at Kaiser University, which was a NAIA school right by the house. Rolly Massimino, rest his soul, was the coach there. And they was letting me use the gym, the facilities and stuff like that. And then, I saw, when I drove on campus, it was a sign, NAIA champs, the women's golf team, the men's golf team. And, as I'm working out, one of the athletic directors, came to meet me and stuff like that. And he introduced me to one of their, I think he was the executive director of the golf team. His name is Eric Wilson, man, introduced me. He said, hey, man, anytime you want to just come in there, hit on a golf simulator, you want a couple lessons here and there, just let me know. So I had free time on my hands. I said, sure. Long story short, man, he started a couple of times a week. He started meeting with me 30, 45 minutes, put me in there, work on my swing and stuff like that. And then it just kind of went from there.
See, that's the thing, Will, about this game. You never know what your entry point is. Because, Taylor, we go back to kind of your upbringing and growing up. There's not a lot of courses around, South Central LA. Talk to me a little bit about your attitude about the game. Again, you stayed in your shell, but what was your attitude toward golf kind of coming up versus where it is now?
So if you'd have asked me throughout my first 18 years of life about golf, I couldn't tell you one thing, never watched it, all that. I couldn't even tell you where a golf course was in California, in LA. You know what I'm saying?
That's very fair.
Didn't know. And so, as I continue to obviously move forward with my career and stuff like that, like you said, even in Kentucky, the first thing I know, I came across a golf was Doug. The first 10 time I came across golf, for sure.
That's real.
But at that time I was, in college, so locked in with basketball, then got to the league, so locked in with basketball, never really paid attention. Then I slowly start watching it a little bit. Obviously when Tiger started, started to say, oh, okay, what I'm saying is, follow this golf a little bit and watch a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then next thing you know, some of my boys on my team start talking about it. And next thing you know, it just started ringing bells. And then when I got done playing, perfect opportunity, ran into that situation. My man was like, hey, come out here, hit some balls. And then next thing you know, I became interested.
Hey, Doug, so I'm curious, and I want both of you guys' perspective. I mean, you just touched on it. But, that look when you tell somebody, especially another black guy, that I play golf for a living. That look, I mean, and what the look is, Doug. The look is different from person to person.
Race to race too.
Race to race.
You play golf. The hell do you know about the damn game of golf?
From race to race, exactly. So, but that look, I tell you, I want a little more out of you. What was the initial look when Doug said, "Man, that's nice. I play golf." Like, what was that? What was that look, Tay? Like, damn, you really play golf? Because the facial expression is so evident, so clear once you come across to that point.
So when I found out Doug was playing golf, when he first brought it to my attention, I was just like,
"No way."
What?
Play golf? You know what I mean? Like,
and I'm hyped. Will, yeah, I play golf. Fool. Like what?
Doug's always on 10, so I knew that really had to be a shock too.
Well, it's just one of those things where you like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all right, it's cool, you know what I mean? You enjoy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like, do your thing.
Yeah, go ahead and do your thing. But now that I got involved to the point where, and now I'm not out there playing 18 holes, and I'm not to that point. I just, go hit balls on the range, just get that peace of mind, lock in and stuff like that. Because obviously you guys know better than I do. When you get in that golf state, man, it just relaxes you, man, because you got to focus more and stuff like that. it's at a whole different level of focus. So, you know, that's what made me kind of like, when I went out there and started hitting balls, to really enjoy it, because it forces you to lock in, take you to a place at least where I haven't been before. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been in that basketball world where I've trained myself, where that scheduling of how to process and do everything, you know, it's just a flip of a switch. This golf ain't a flip of a switch. You know? It's that thing where you just got to lock in, wherever, but at the same time, while you out there doing it, it's just so peaceful, it's so relaxing. It's you guys can obviously explain it, but I can't. But I'm to that point where, man, it's to see all that openness.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and try to get that ball out there and stuff like that to lock in, man. It's a piece of enjoyment to experience.
It is.
I'll tell you this, Will. I will never forget. I forget the year though, but I remember the tournament. I qualified for my first Kentucky Open. Right, like I'm like 16 or 17 years old. It's out there at it's at Keene Trace where they play the Barbasol, and I was like, Tay, why don't you come out to the tournament, man? Mind you, Tayshaun Prince, if you play basketball at Kentucky, you Michael Jackson, you Beyonce, you up there, right? You Jay-Z.
Yeah,
so at this point, Tay is like Jay-Z in the state of Kentucky. And I'm playing the Kentucky Opens, my first one. Like I said, I'm 16, 17. And I see Tay and my cousin Farrah walking down the fairway. And I was like, man, that's nice. Fam's out here. I appreciated that. But I didn't expect the throng of UK faithful to be following Tayshaun.
And then they
following me.
Right.
So here I am thinking I got a gallery. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got like 10, 15 people in my... No. They were there to watch Tayshaun walk. It was unbelievable.
They're following you by happenstance.
That's it. But Tay, you said something interesting, man, about the focus of golf, because, being, on the front end of it, and now you're in these rooms, right? You're working from Memphis. You're in the office. You got the VP on your title now. Like how is golf? How can golf serve you now? As you kind of vie for GM, as you go up the chain.
I mean, obviously that's a great question. I think the biggest piece, right, is like, no matter no matter what job you're in, you know what I mean, outside of golf or whatever case may be, me being basketball, me now being off the court and being front office, having to make tough decisions in terms of, helping our president of basketball build a team, behind closed doors and stuff like that. Obviously, the stress factors that come behind that. So it always had them good moments where you could just say, you know what, man, let me get my clubs, go out here, hit some balls, just take my mind off of things that, whether it's basketball, family, things that you got going on, you could just go out there, hit some for a couple hours. Man, it just relaxes you, man. Like I said, you still have them moments where you struggle and you still, you hit that ball left, right, whatever the case may be. But like I said before, man, there's a certain piece of calm when I go out there and hit that ball, man, and just take my mind off other things while I'm out there. So that's the piece of enjoyment when I go out there and swing that club, man, is that, the things that I have going on, man, you know what, let me just go take my frustrations out, hit that, swing that club a little bit, relax. You know what I mean? Have a good time, man. And that's where I find the value in golf, because quite honestly, I can't put so much time into it while I'm playing 18 holes all the time and stuff like that, just because of the job that I have. And obviously I'm, working from home and flying back to Memphis. So I got a lot on my plate right now. So obviously we'll have that time where I could play a lot more and obviously expand my game and stuff like that, because I am nowhere near a good golfer at this point, but I would love to be at some point.
Is it seems like you understand like the culture capital and somewhat of the upward social mobility what golf can bring. Is anybody on the team playing golf? I mean, I don't know. I know John Moran is having a crazy year, but has anybody have you done your golf civic duty and introduced him to the game yet? I mean,
I haven't did my golf civic duty at all, and I say that because one, as y'all know, COVID has done amazing things, or excuse me, done some terrible things.
Right.
Excuse me. And to where I haven't been around the guys a lot. You know, I've been home working back and forth and stuff like that. You know, the guys played in the bubble, which I'm sure they picked up a club at that point, but obviously not seriously, just to have, you know, a couple fun, you know, times where they're just taking their mind off things while they're in the bubble. But, you know, a couple of my counterparts that I work with, you know, in the front office, you know, they pick up clubs occasionally and stuff like that. So, you know, once I get around the guys a lot more after this whole situation, of course, you know, we'll have those conversations. And I'm sure a lot of those guys, you know, as they get further into their career, they'll start picking up the clubs and get some little relaxation and enjoy it.
You know, it's funny when you talk about the bubble, Tay. Will and I were talking to Devin Booker at Chris Paul's event late last year. Devin started in the bubble. Like, that was his intro. I mean, that was one of the few things the guys at Disney could do to kind of get away. I remember what J.J. Redick was playing, like, a lot of golf during that time, but he introduced D-Book to the game, and Book's solid. Like, Book, he's been playing for, almost 2 years, and, you know, he's somebody that I could go play with and not be embarrassed by. But it's just, I find that how people get into golf very, very interesting. But here, Tay, Will likes to get messy, so I'm gonna do it before he does it. Whose ass do you want to bust, though, of the homies that you know that play the game? When you get to that point, who you got on your in your crosshairs where it's like, you know what, I'm coming for that ass when I get this golf down?
Well, you know, like I said, like I tell you, I'm not going to front. I got a ways to go, but you know, I do have big shots on my list, bro. Big shots on my list. You know, Chauncey Billups, man, is a guy that, you know, he's really starting to evolve in golf. You know, when Portland came out here and played a couple weeks ago, Doug, he was out at Whisper Rock.
He didn't tell me. He didn't call me. It's rude.
You know what I'm saying? Didn't even hit you up and all that.
It's rude. All right, Chauncey Billups, you on my list.
But quite honestly, as you know, I'm sure you know this, Doug. Obviously, it'd be a great feeling to beat Rip. You know, Rip likes to talk a whole bunch of smack, right? You know, Rip be out there on that golf course, man, and you know, he talks like he know it all. He's the best in the business. You played with him before at the Bears Club, so you know, Rip City, it'd be number one on the list before Chauncey.
Why do I feel like Rip, you know, his golf game would mirror his hoop game? You know, Rip was one of the best. Run around the whole damn court. Rip was one of the best mid-range shooters of all time. Why do I feel like if Rip get within 6 feet, it's gonna be buckets? Like, I just feel like he has his old. I feel like he probably had the best old man, young man golf game. It decided NBA.
Man, I tell you this, Tay. What I enjoy though about playing with Rip, and we're gonna get him in here at some point, is how the basketball mentality kind of spills over into golf. And what I mean by that is, Will, we playing with Rip, we're playing at Adios. Rip hit a ball in the water, and mind you, he's the best 18 handicap you will ever play with. Like, 18 handicap that can make 3 pars is hard to beat. Like, right. Very difficult to beat. So, but Rip hit one in the water, and, you know, most players tell you would be discouraged. But that basketball mentality flipped in him, Will, and he was like, I'm about to show y'all the best triple you ever seen. And I was like, the best triple? It's a triple, cuz. Like, what the hell are you talking about, Rip?
Man, this man's tripping.
But it's interesting, Tay. It's like I remember Keith Bogans when he got to the league. He had that shooting slump, and Keith was like, "Just get me to the free throw line. Let me see a couple fall, and I can fill it up." You know, so Rip with that best triple you ever seen mentality. Anything like that you can bring in from basketball to bring into golf?
I mean, to that point, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure, you know, obviously you watched us a whole lot and stuff in Detroit, but our mentality was like that. You know what I'm saying? Our mentality, you know, we won a game shooting 38% from the field, right? And you know, you see teams right now, you know, they're shooting 55%. We won 38% from the field. And it's like, you know what? We can't make that next shot. You know what? We're going to go ahead and get this stop on the other end. So therefore, if we got to, you know, get another shot where we need to, you know, score on the other end, we just going to have to get this stop on the other end of the floor. It was our mentality. You know, wherever we need to, you know, make up for what we did wrong on that other situation, we're going to take care of it somewhere else. So that was just our whole mentality. And that's why we were so successful, even though the numbers didn't really stand out with what we did. we just had that mentality where, okay, that didn't work, but we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna make it happen. Don't panic, be calm, it's gonna be good. So, that testament to what you talking about with Rip on the golf game or on a course, that's how we all was on the basketball court.
So you just made a reference to, in a roundabout way, 2 different NBAs, right? So the NBA as a player, the NBA as a gold medalist, versus the NBA as up and coming GM. Which one do you like? Which one are you more favor? Or just explain how are they different right now?
Obviously this part of it in terms of front office is more challenging because.
Really?
Yes, it's more challenging because one.
Well, there's more money involved. It's got to be more challenging.
It's more challenging because you're in a position where you're helping build the team. Okay. I always had my hands on where I had the basketball in my hands and I could dictate what I'm doing on the court. I could dictate, and I've always been in that position growing up, working on my game. I wasn't working on building a team when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying? I was working on my craft on the court. Now I'm working on my craft and helping the Memphis Grizzlies have the best team chemistry that they could possibly have and grow in the right direction, in which obviously we're in a process of where things are going in the right direction. But this has been new to me. This has been an experience that I had to grow. And obviously this is my 5th year on this side of doing it, but it has been a challenge. And, you go through those ups and downs like you do in golf and in any other position that you have. And this has been a different challenge as opposed to the challenges, in basketball. But to answer your question, the getting to the NBA was the experience of a lifetime because of all the hard work I put in. And then obviously the gold medal and all that kind of stuff, just kind of, the explanation point to all the stuff that I had to, the grind and the challenges that I had to go to get to where I get was just like the explanation points of my career, getting a championship, getting a gold medal, and just continue to, move forward in the game of basketball.
So it kind of leads to the next question. Like, is the NBA going to go back to the NBA? I call the NBA of the old days, of the early 2000s, late 90s, where I saw a big man with his back to the basket, waiting for an entry pass. Like, because right now these guys are just throwing it up for 35, 40 feet. Like, do you think the NBA will come back around to the old days? I can't believe I'm saying that right now, but the old days of early 2000s,
old days of last year.
Man, you know what, man? It's kind of tough to see that road ahead to see that happening. I don't want to say it's not going to happen, but it's definitely not going to happen anytime soon. The big pieces. You look at the Jokic's and the Joel Embiid's who can still play with their back to the basket, but they also have transitioned to shooting threes and bringing the ball up the floor and stuff like that. So it's still good to see that part of it where you have guys like that who could still play with their back to the basket, but also transition and do these other things and expand their game. So from that perspective, it's good to see, right? As opposed to just seeing one part of it, you get to watch guys like those guys who are expanding and doing a little bit of the old era and new.
Tay, we send everybody out of this podcast the same way. We call it Rap Foursome. Right here, Beyond the Fairway podcast presented by Genesis. Tay, you were going to go play golf with 4 rappers, right? It's going to be you and 4, so it's 5 of y'all. Tayshaun Prince, I need to know who you pull up to the course with.
With 4 rappers?
4 rappers.
So I'm pulling up with Snoop. I'm pulling up with Ice Cube.
West Coast.
Come on, man. You already know, man. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I had an idea, but you got to let the people know, man. You got 2 more rappers. You got 2 more cats you got to play with.
I'm pulling up with Snoop. I'm pulling up with Ice Cube. I'm pulling up with my boy Game because, I grew up with Game. You know what I'm saying? So I got to pull up with Game. Now,
Did not know that.
I know you kind of like, because, Gang with the red suit on and all that.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Gang played basketball, you know what I'm saying? So he played basketball.
Got common ground. Common ground. And he's 6'5".
So, you know, mutual respect and love there, you know what I mean? So I got Cube, I got Snoop, I got Game, but then, you know, at the end of the day, man, I got to go with the old head Dr. Dre, you know what I mean? Like, once again, I got to keep it West Coast, you know what I mean?
That's
keep
all the way West Coast.
Love, you know what I mean? And
that's the motion.
Then the guys that I pretty much obviously, you know, grew up listening to and stuff like that. And then, like I said, Game was the guy that I played basketball with and against AAU, playing, you know, he went to a rival high school in Compton.
So he was good.
So Game, you know, Game could really shoot it, man. That was his thing, man. Really could shoot it, catch and shoot.
Well, hold on. Just I want to be clear. We're talking about he can shoot basketball, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely could shoot the 3-ball, man. That was his thing, man. He could shoot it. You know?
Nice.
Well,
I can see Game liking red stakes. You know, just hitting the red hazard. I can see that.
There goes Will. Tay, we appreciate you coming in here, going beyond the fairway, right here, Golf Channel, NBC. Appreciate you, brother.
Man, appreciate y'all having me, man. Much respect, man. Keep doing y'all thing, man. And I hear you guys all the time. Look forward to bigger and better things for you guys as you continue to move forward. But once again, thanks for having me, man. Shout out to you guys. Wish you guys
you, man.
the best.
Thank you, y'all.
Have a blessing.
Hey, and tell Chauncey and Rip, coming for that ass. Let them know. Beyond the Fairway is presented by Genesis Motor America and the new 2022 GV80. Luxurious design meets intuitive versatility will make the game your own. And you talk about somebody that does that is Tayshaun Prince. Tayshaun has started the game, like you said, he's a 6-7 year newbie, doesn't get all the time to play, but you know, Will, I enjoy what we do here and talking to people from the diaspora of sport, entertainment, media about kind of their entree into the game, because Tay came in, I mean, some of it was my fault, you know, a little bit, but when somebody actually invites you, says, hey, come over here, try this thing out, and I'm going to show you how to do it correctly, it can mean the world for anybody and how somebody's trajectory moves forward within this game.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, that was he was golf adjacent, you know, through you, right? You know?
Oh, you play golf? Okay.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
Weird, but cool.
Weird. I mean, you as light as me, so I guess that's something I should do. Beige golfers in 99, that'd been nice to see. However, you know, one thing I really appreciate about that interview was I never known Tay to go in depth to talk about, I guess, a little bit of the past, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, when we were speaking on to how he grew up, when it comes to the gang related and, you know, gang affiliates, etc. And I really appreciate that because it kind of shows us, you know, when staying on path and when being focused, what it can get you out of.
Absolutely.
You know, and
situation.
Man, he you know, he had some barriers, and he overcame the barriers by staying focused and, you know, seeing the end from the beginning.
And he also had a people, regardless of their affiliations, he had people that wanted to see him succeed.
Absolutely.
Right? They kind of put this bubble around him, you know, made claim to him, and made sure he got to represent himself, his family, his community on a grander stage. And you have to appreciate that in a brotherly way, a brotherhood way. But it's also, you know, there's a lot of people that he grew up with, Will, that are no longer here due to some of the same situations that were had to, you know, they had to get dealt with. That's just what it is, you know, where he's from and how he grew up. But great story in Tayshaun Prince, and
hold on just a second.
Coming in here. Go ahead, Will.
First time I ever heard on Beyond the Fairway and relate to golf, somebody had to get dealt with. Kudos to you, Doug.
I told you this season I'm coming a little different. You know what I mean? I'm gonna let it out just a touch.
Somebody had to get dealt with. Okay, nice. All right.
Well, speaking of somebody and dealing with something.
Hold on.
Right,
can you explain that to our white listeners? What that means exactly?
I'm not.
Do it real quick, Doug. I love to see it.
They're gonna have to go to Urban Dictionary to figure that one out, because you know we talk about the game and how we do it. So if you want to know what we talking about, you're gonna do a little research, Will. But somebody that dealt with wind elements, slow, firm greens, which is an oxymoron in itself. J.J. Spawn, we claim J.J. J.J. us, he had the Charlie Sifford Memorial Exemption some years back, played in the Valero Texas Open, was not in the Masters field, was not there, but now he is. I had a chance to be there on the grounds, worked for PGA Tour Live on ESPN Plus, covering the tournament last week, and, the excitement and the nerves that JJ, because it wasn't just winning your first PGA Tour event, it's winning your first event, potentially getting into your first major, and he kind of showed a little bit of twinge, kind of hit this hook off the tee on 18, and everybody kind of gasped. We didn't know, but he had a 2-shot lead, able to save par and get the boots. You don't get a green jacket there. You get boots. And J.J. Spawn, it was a great finish, man. It was an electric atmosphere, and great to see him get his first win.
JJ's been on the up and coming for a while. Even as a Canadian Tour player, I first heard of JJ when he was Charlie Sifford recipient for the Genesis Open. I think it was still Genesis Open at that time as well.
It was an Open then, yeah.
Genesis Open.
Pre-invitational.
And you always knew that he had it in him, and I appreciate it. He didn't play APJ, did he?
No, I don't think he played in one. He might have thought about it, but he didn't play. Not to my recollection. So
we can't say that, but he's always he always shows the pizzazz, the ability to be victorious. So I hope he does well. Him and Harold need to rely on each other this week, and hopefully they can persevere and get through.
Hey, real quick, Tim O'Neill, Father Time, almost 50, going to go to the Champions Tour next year. Did get the win at PGA Golf Club in Port St. Lucie on the APGA Tour over the weekend. Shot 2 rounds of 9 under par. So, shouts out to Father Time, Tim O'Neill, getting it done there on the APGA Tour. Well, it's time now, Will, for the Make the Game Your Own segment presented by Genesis. And, we highlight organizations, we highlight people, and efforts here on this segment of Beyond the Fairway. And right now there's a person that I think we need to give a little shine to. Let's give them their flowers. And I'm talking about NFL Hall of Famer Ronnie Lott. And Will, Ronnie says that when he came into the league, he had guys like Deacon Jones and Jim Brown kind of help him grow and develop. And now a big fan of the game of golf, loves the game. He has taken his own funds to invest in Michael Herrera, California player, predominantly plays on the APGA Tour, but he's got big-time game, and he can play on any tour given the right circumstances. And Ronnie Lott taking the time, taking his own money to help out a player. And, Will, you know what it means to get funding, to get help as you try to play this game, and it's a big freaking deal.
Doug, I don't know what it means to get funding because I didn't get funding. But, however, I do know what the repercussions of having funding being granted to you for sure. I think one of the things that makes the story so, transcending and what makes it so beautiful is that when Cedric Tanner has the event out in California for his charity golf event, and he's partnered with the APGA Tour, to where he has some players from the APGA Tour come out and participate in the event. I think, Doug, you even at one point was hitting...
We both did.
Yeah, hitting balls on the holes or what have you. And that was the opportunity for Ronnie Lott to meet Michael. And whatever happened, whatever, dialogue that was exchanged, those guys, befriended each other. And, Michael said, this is a great story. I want to help out. And if it wasn't for Cedric to plant that seed, to have a platform to where you can cross-pollinate, players who are struggling trying to get on tour versus celebrities. Mm-hmm. And that right there is, kudos to I like to say my kudos, but kudos to Cedric.
You like kudos.
I do like kudos, but
Cedric, it should be like a cereal. Kudos.
It should. Black cereal with 2 faces like us. But kudos to Cedric for getting that platform and having those two meet.
It's one thing, Will. Let's talk about access to people with capital that can meet in the APGA there with Cedric the Entertainer tournament there at Spanish Hills in California. the convergence of all the things was kind of the perfect storm. So, Ronnie Lott, we want to give you your flowers right here on the Make Your Game Your Own segment presented by Genesis.
But this will be funny because I'm Michael has no excuse because Ronnie Lott's a tough SOB. He's a tough SOB. So
spelling stuff now. I love it.
Yeah, because if it gets to a point that Michael says I'm tired. That's not gonna fly with Ronnie, because Ronnie got 9.5 fingers. Ronnie be like, "Hey man, what's up, everybody?" Like he tore his pinky off in the game, Doug.
I'm not even gonna. I believe you. I've seen it, but I'm not gonna comment because Ronnie might come grab me by 4 fingers on my neck, and I don't feel like getting yoked up. But
you ever got beat up by somebody with 9 fingers?
Never. But I have been beat up. But hey, you ain't lived this life right if you ain't took one L.
Man,
everybody got one L.
If you say you never lost, that's infatuation. You lying.
Right. No cap.
You lying. I've ran a few times.
All right. Well, big shouts out to Ronnie Lott and best of luck to Michael Herrera right here on the Make the Game Your Own segment presented by Genesis. Will, it's that moment where we have to make a pick. We have to pick our Masters champion. And there's so many players that I just don't think can win. Let's just put it like that. I mean, Tiger said it a few years back. Look, you got the amateurs, they're not going to win. You got the first-timers, they're not going to win. They don't have enough reps. You got the people that are going to be near the top that are going to get nervous and fall by the wayside. So in this, smaller field event, well, there's only about 20 guys that really got a chance to win. So that's Tiger Woods talking, not me. Will, who you rolling with for?
I think I'm going to enter. I think I'm going to enter. He's a 4-time major champion, and this is his 7th appearance.
Ooh, that's a good number
at Augusta National. I think I'm going with Brooks Cupcake, aka Brooks Koepka.
Cupcake is the call.
I think this is it. I mean, shit. I mean, this is his 7th time. He finished tied for 2nd in 2019.
Hit it in the water on 12. I recall that.
Absolutely. So he had 12 rounds on the par. He made over $1 million there. I think he is comfortable.
All right. Well, I'm gonna switch it up. I love how you had those stats and figures already ready because I don't have the stats for our man G-Dub. Gary Woodland coming off last week at the Valero, finished top 10. Strokes gained around the green, real 79th, kind of in the middle of the pack. Stroke gained putting, he was 44th last week. I feel like he's driving it well, although he's only 50%. But if you played in that wind, that's actually a good number. So he putts it, he chips it, he got swag, the right attitude. I'm going with G-Dub to get his 2nd major of his career. Gary Woodland is my pick. Bruce Cupcake, Gary Woodland. Somebody's going to have a green jacket. Might be one of them. Put your money there.
I'll put my money on Brooks. And we also said that he can't come on the show until he wins a Masters.
Yes, Will and I at the WM Open here, Phoenix Open. We said, Brooks, we want you on the show, but you cannot come on without a green jacket, and that was the bet. So can Bruce Cupcake get it done at Augusta National? I don't know, but we'll see. And I know all of y'all are going to be watching the tournament this week, and we'll see if Tiger says, I guess he's going to lace up his shoes now. Will, it's like, lace up his foot joys, I guess.
Yeah, he's going to have the thin strings.
Got the round strings.
The round. He got the bent toes.
All right, that's it for us. Listen, follow, subscribe, Beyond the Fairway, presented by Genesis. I rented one last week. Had me whipping in the G80. Don't tell nobody, Will, but that thing was kind of smooth. So shouts out to all the folks over at Genesis. And it's Masters Week. Enjoy it. Have a good one, guys.